Hello, sweet friends, and welcome to The Way Through. I am your host, Bonnie Worth, and so thrilled to have a chance again this week to connect with you, but for a really phenomenal conversation with today's guest, Dr. Ali Jaffery. He is a chiropractor and clinician with almost 10 years. I'm sorry, I was going to say over 10 years, close to 10 years experience of working not just within helping to regulate the nervous system and heal the spine, but more importantly, in really understanding the mind-body connection. Dr. Ali, I'm so grateful to have a chance to share in this conversation with you here today. Thank you for making time. I know you have a very busy schedule.
Bonnie, it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you and Tony, your team, and your listeners. I'm very humbled and grateful to be here with you and share my thoughts and just spend some time together.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. So this has been one of the conversations that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. And one of the reasons for that is a lot of people who have been following me and, of course, are connected in my community know about the amazing miracle of my scoliosis straightening and my spine going from being in 52 years of having and dealing with scoliosis to working with you and that my spine has straightened or is as straight as what could possibly be considering. And that in and of itself is just such a profound miracle. I first came to you simply because I moved to the new community and I was looking for a chiropractor to support the complexities of dealing with scoliosis. And here in our work together, you brought something completely different forward to me, and this opportunity and chance to really change my whole skeletal system, and really in a very gentle and therapeutic way. So it's one of the reasons why I want to have this conversation. Again, I'm always about letting people know about alternatives that are out there. And I'm have direct experience from your work, from your clinics, and just am so grateful, like I said, and looking forward to this conversation. Can you just share with us, what started you into chiropractic care? What drew you towards really understanding not just the physical understanding of the anatomy of the body, but looking at the mind-body connection? Would you mind sharing a little bit about how this unfolded for you?
Oh, 100%, Bonnie. I would love to. It's funny that you asked me this because every time I meet a chiropractor, I have this habit of asking, what got you into chiropractic? Because it's not something that is, um, the norm of sorts, and it's just curiosity that drives me to ask that question. So I just love that I'm on the receiving end of it, and I get to share that with you. Um, the story's a bit interesting in the way of it comes from a very personal experience of someone that I love, adore, and respect, and that's my mom. Um, when I was in my undergraduate part of the career, when I was doing my undergraduate degree in kinesiology, about halfway through, it was what I thought was a random experience, but there's no such thing as a random experience,
Yeah.
at least from what I've understood in by now. My mom went through this series of events, I would call them, where her nervous system was taxed too much, as I understand it now. But one day she just woke up and she wasn't able to move. And it was quite perplexing to us because it was a very out of the blue, catching us off guard, out of left field kind of event. And then from there, like she went through the healthcare system. This was when we were in Toronto, when I was residing there. I have two siblings. I'm the eldest of two siblings, and then my dad. So our family was very thrown off, and she was the center that made everybody move, that kind of idea. So it was very interesting for us to go through that journey with her. But to make a long story short, she went through months of care under neurologists and some of the top and respectable physicians in Toronto. But she was pretty much left with not many answers that they could find for her. And eventually she ended up going back home to where I was born in Southeast Asia, in Pakistan, in the province of Punjab, in close to Lahore. It's a main city there.
Yeah.
And there she was pretty much taken to what would be called a bone setter. And this bone setter had generational knowledge of the spine and nervous system. And so I wasn't there to experience it firsthand. This is all like secondhand from her and what she
Yeah.
experienced, but it's pretty neat, a patient's perspective, right? So
Yeah.
she became his patient and she went through a series of what we would call adjustments. And through this series of adjustments, she was actually able to regain her mobility. And this whole journey took her about a year to year and a half, where going from someone who's wheelchair bound to be able to regain mobility is what seems like a miraculous event. And so that transformed my outlook on what I wanted to do with my education and profession and where I wanted to pursue, because I had different intentions. And so it made me explore a whole other realm of healthcare. And that eventually landed me to um, the world of chiropractic.
Yeah.
And so it was a very personal journey, and one where I was able to witness, um, I'm blessed to witness some very miraculous things happen
Yeah.
for somebody who's in a very low place in their health.
Yes, yes, and I mean, I know that, you've seen me at my most vulnerable moments, and just, the grace, that through, those treatments, and, in the support, was just so meaningful for me in terms of supporting my health and well-being, and really getting to the place where I am, in terms of my own mobility and, improvements because of the treatments. One of the things that I think, of course, coming to you as a clinician, just getting to know each other. And of course, we don't really, it's not this personal kind of connection. We just have some conversations about the logistics of what's going on with the body, and you move forward into your treatments with me. One of the things that really kind of did it for me, I remember being in this very vulnerable state and being in so much pain. And as I was there, you encouraged me to breathe, and you asked me a question. You said, what was the one thing that I wanted more than anything? And I said, I just want to walk down the block to
I
go and
remember.
get my mail. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
I
Because I
remember
couldn't
that
walk at
conversation.
all.
Yeah, that is
Yes.
etched in my memory too.
Yes. And you just said, Bonnie, I just want you to focus this whole time we're doing the treatment. I just want you to see yourself walking to the mailbox. Go walk to the mailbox, keep walking to the mailbox. And I did that the whole time. And that was at that moment when I knew that you and I were really understanding a little bit more of the mind body connection. And it was a miracle. I say miracle in not just in a light way, but I had gone from being completely immobilized to all of a sudden, running up my stairs in my house and going, oh my gosh, what just happened? Because it was such an incredible shift that took place in my body. And so because of that, I would just love for you just to share, how do you define that importance of that mind body connection?
You know, Bonnie, that's a great question. And what I'm about to share is honestly no original thought. These are thoughts that I've learned from my mentors, right? And
Yeah.
it's one of the mentors I would say that we have in common, and this is where our
Yeah.
relationship really changed, right? Is when
Yes.
we started talking about the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, who was actually introduced to me by one of my very close mentors, who I work and he's here in Edmonton. Um, so he shared this concept that we now, it's kind of becoming a fad term, the observer effect, right?
Yes.
In quantum physics, and being able to observe an event happening, right? And so when I was reading through that part of his work, it really made me think about the power of thought, how thought alone can influence us. And this is in tradition that's been, I think, for centuries, across religions, across the globe, many cultures, right? Is that it all starts with thought and intention. And so that part of healthcare, or that component that's needed for a patient to experience in their healthcare, I don't think it's emphasized enough, at least in our society here. And I find that chiropractic, especially, and maybe I'm coming at this with a bit of baggage being a chiropractor, but chiropractic specifically, talks about the power of thought on the healing capacity, right? Like you have to almost be there before you get there. And
Yeah.
so when we talk, for our patients, when we're talking about getting prepared for an adjustment, for example, right, we'll take them through what we call um, a decompression, right? And a part of that decompression, like you said, is the breathing and activating the spinal respiratory wave to get your breathing right. Because when you're in pain, your breathing changes, right? You have quick breaths. And so it's just reactivating that wave. But the other part, another component of it is think positive mental thoughts. This was compiled as a method by our founder in Divine Spine, and so that component prior to receiving or experiencing an adjustment for your body, I feel that if it's properly utilized, actually allows you to be in the place where you want to be, and then your brain simply takes you there, right? Your
Mhm.
mind does the things that it needs to do in order to help you heal and heal well.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned earlier too, for the fact that, you've seen and witnessed a lot of maybe seemingly chronic conditions in people, whether with the spine, with different, things that they were experiencing. Your mom, as an example, that were otherwise considered perhaps incurable. And this is what's so amazing to me is because the combination, and I've been doing chiropractic adjustments since I think I started when I was probably as early as 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old for my scoliosis. So I've spent my lifetime having adjustments, chiropractically. And the approach that you offer is so gentle and really allowing for the body's natural healing capacities in this, where, working, excuse me, with the nervous system. And for me, after having all of the other painful, sets and adjustments that were done over the years, to be in the experience and the therapy in this approach is just been so helpful and beneficial. And so, how do you see this approach in from your observer of seeing all your patients come through your clinic?
Um, I would I would look at it this way. In in patients, with people in general, like it is really um, trying to figure out how I can phrase this the best.
Yeah.
I meet people not with, like, when we think chiropractic, right? Usually where the mind goes is like back pain, neck pain, headaches, sciatica, right? But
Yeah.
when I meet patients, that is a part of their journey. Like truly chronic conditions. There's some people, for example, who are at the same time battling, life-changing illnesses, and that could be back pain for someone, right, where it is indeed life-changing, right? But some people
Yes.
are experiencing things like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and that's what they're battling, or MS and cancer. And some of these confounding conditions can make what seem like a day-to-day life very, very complex. But as an observer, um, the difference that I find is it's really odd, because it's those patients that actually have the strongest will, the
Mhm.
will to heal. And and it's patients like yourself, where they're just on this very, like, they're determined to make sure that they heal. There's no defeat for them. And what may feel like a lost battle turns into a won war kind of idea.
Yeah.
right? Is where every adjustment, right? They could come back. There's a relapse, right? Where they feel like they're going backwards symptomatically, but they don't
Yes.
give up on it. They see the end. They can always visualize the end, and the end being them experiencing true health, whatever that means for them, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
walking to the mailbox, right? Or picking up their grandkids or going golfing again. And that part of life returns in their mind. But what they're not willing to do is give up on achieving that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so, the will I think is so strong. I know within myself. It's just I know for me, and I still am in that place where I'm not going to allow this to be how I experience my life. Like I'm not, it's just that will, that's that determination to go, I'm going to give my body the chance that I know that it requires and needs, because I believe that our bodies have the capacity to heal. We've got everything inside of us to be able to heal some of the most, debilitating or maybe even chronic conditions, by being able to take a look deeper. And I think that, even as a part of my work with you, and I had shared, I was in the process of writing my book through this
Yes.
last 3 years when working with you as well. So there were a lot of things within the healing of trauma, the adjustments of what was being activated in my nervous system that really almost demanded of me to pay attention to what was coming up, to feel and move through what was looking to be released, because my body had suppressed so much. And I think this is understanding the emotions become a suppression inside, and the body holds it, which again, from my belief, is that it becomes the root of what are some of the illnesses, the dis-ease that the body goes through. So having, again, this is again why I just am so passionate about, bringing to the forefront some of these other alternatives for people to understand that there are so many ways for us to heal, and our bodies are have the capacities to go through, yes, some of the hardest things, but also the capacity when our will and our mind are strong and focused in the process. And I want to just bring in, I know we, in our conversations, you said from your point of view or from your vantage point as well, through the work you do, you look at three specific areas, and that being thoughts, trauma, and toxins. Can you talk a little bit about how that all interacts?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's crazy that you still remember like these conversations. This is amazing. Like I am really perplexed with the level of memory that you have on this. Um, Thoughts, trauma, and toxins is, again, not an original thought of mine. It's something that all chiropractors are well aware of, and they talk about with their patients. So I just want to prelude with that is it's it is an integral part to um, a chiropractor's world when they are engaging with patients and helping facilitate healing. And that is because chiropractors specifically focus a lot on the nervous system, and from that, especially the central nervous system. So when you're looking at the central nervous system, what your main consideration is, well, what imposes or what does the nervous system have to adapt to? And so the three T's kind of became this very easy way to communicate that
Yeah.
is the thoughts and the trauma and the toxins. Those are usually the three things in life that require an adaptation from our nervous system. And usually these adaptations, they're not big, right? Usually things that happen in life, it's a cumulative effect, right? Like, for
Right.
example, if you have bad quality water and you drank it once, well, maybe you might get away with it, right? And you may not get sick. Your body might be able to fight off and deal with it, right? Or if you were stressed and you didn't really um, put that stress or that emotion, you didn't deal with it at that time, right? Your body will be able to deal with it and compartmentalize it somewhere so it can get on with its day, right? That's the very beautiful part about the human body is that it's able to adapt and it's able to change and interact with its environment. It's as like simple as if it's going to be cold outside, well, our body temperature is going to go up inside and kind of calibrate and adapt with it, right? So when we look at the nervous system, these three T's, the thoughts, the trauma, and the toxins, the part that's addressed the most in our society is the trauma. It's, what did you lift, right? Or, hey, were you in a car accident, right? Or, hey,
Right.
did you slip and fall, right? Or do you sit a lot at work, and is that why you have neck pain? Right?
Mhm.
But the other two T's, the thoughts and the toxins, are not always discussed and see what sort of like physical implications that they have. Like if someone is stressed, like this is, we know this, right? If someone is
Yeah.
stressed, their shoulders are going to go like this. And if they're stressed all the
Yeah.
time, the shoulders, why are your shoulders so tight? Well, it's because I'm stressed, right? And from there, if you look at the nervous system, right, and see where is that stress, where are those thoughts getting um, put, and where are they being stored, and how can we release them and allow the nervous system to flow? Because when the nervous system is able to flow, it can help regulate like regulate your body. It can
Yeah.
help you deal with those thoughts better, right? A
Mhm.
nervous system that's functioning well will help you process the thoughts. It will help you process the toxins because it allows the body to deal with those things. So when we talk about, hey, how do I get um, long-term results? Like nobody in this world, I think, nobody really, if they could wish it and if they could want it, no one
Yeah.
wants like temporary fixes, right? Everyone, when it
Right.
comes to health, I want to be healthy for the rest of my life. In my golden years, I really want to experience good health. So when we talk about long-term changes in the body, we have to look at, well, how quickly can my body adapt to those things? I can't always change and control my environment, but what I can control is how quickly is my body going to be able to adapt to it? How quickly is my nervous system going to be able to take care of it?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's
Wow.
where the three T's really come into the picture
Yeah.
and come into a chiropractor's and a chiropractic patient's world.
Amazing, amazing. I know you one of the things that, I've always, heard you say, it's like the body has its own time. And so we can't rush, we have these ideas when you talk about, I want to be and have health and vitality, for the rest of my life. And I want to this optimal thing and this optimal space of well-being. When we look at maybe we're dealing with a condition and it's like we want the quick fixes. We want it to be over the pain. Can we just make it end? Can we just
That's
get,
right.
all of these things? And what I love is that you just say the body has its own time, and that's really helped me to just kind of create I would say some ease in just and space to allow my body to go through what it needs to go through in order to recalibrate or heal itself. And looking at this is, I think, again, so many reasons why I just feel so, supportive of and so connected to your philosophies and how you approach this work, because the thoughts do have such a bearing in terms of how we feel. Even if, I look at my own, it's like when I would have thoughts of where this felt hopeless and I was caught up in my pain body, and I knew that, you talk about the stress and my body was taxed and stressed, that just being able to have conversations that opened up to say, okay, I just, what are you thinking of? Keep your thoughts, stay positive about this, because it does have such a bearing and impact.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. And when you look at, when I want to go into the toxins of things. So when you're
Yes.
speaking of toxins in the body, are you looking at environmental toxins? Are we looking at those based on nutritional components? Or are we looking in terms of we could say, an energetic experience that the body is going in? How do you define toxins from your point of view?
All of them. Everything
Okay.
that you've said, anything that your body is ingesting, right? And it's really neat. Like when you look at being like a student of life, you just reignited something. Like I didn't even really consider the emotional ingesting as a part of
Yeah.
ingesting, but that's like you have your digestive system, but you have also have your emotional digestive system. Is how do you process emotions, right? And though I'm not, I'm not a certified psychologist or a psychiatrist, that's not my work, but it's an important part of your overall well-being, right? And it does have an implication on your nervous system. When you're eating unhealthy for a period of time, right? And you want to indulge in sugar, or you want to use processed food, things that we all know are generally
Yeah.
not good for us, and we're not balancing the nutritional element well on a cellular level, right? Your body is going to have to take care of that cell. It's going to have to figure out, hey, if that cell is damaged, how do I repair it? And as we age, those repairing mechanisms, we think that they slow down. But a neat part that I see in practice is a nervous system that's functioning well at any phase in life has the capacity to speed it up, right? What may feel like age related isn't always age related. I
Yeah.
hear that so often, oh, I can't move because I feel like I'm getting older. I'm like, you're only in your 40s. Come on. When you've seen,
Right.
from a newborn to my eldest patient now is 97, right?
Wow.
So when you've seen that kind of lifespan, you're like, okay, there's an elderly person, and she takes the bus to get here, right?
Wow.
And I know my patient in her 90s, like she walks over from her building through the mall, over the parking lot. And if anyone's ever interested, there's a really cool book. It's called the oh my God, it's escaping my mind right now. The 100-year-old man, I think, right, or 100-year-old
Yeah.
lifestyle. There's a phrase there, right? But you should really read that book, because I don't believe it. Like, I think that any stage in life, you are in control of your healing, right? It's really up to you. So the toxins, if you handle well, right, and you know what your weaknesses are, right? Like, is it sugar? Is it is it alcohol? Is it smoking? Whatever it is, right? You should be able to figure out, how is that impacting my body and my nervous system, and how can if it has happened, if it's something, we all slip, right? It's going to
Yeah.
happen. How do I, as a person, take control of that situation?
Mhm.
Right? How do I not let it become a continuous pattern? And that's where, again, that part of will comes in, is if I have thoughts, if I have toxins, if I have trauma in my life, physical or mental, but I have the desire and will to not let it stay in my body and allow my body to process it, then all of a sudden, health becomes an inside out affair.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. An inside out affair, because that is, that's exactly it for me. It's like whatever is going on inside of us is what's being expressed on the outside of us, whether that be in our physical body or experiences that we're having in our life, as we face reality, or, whether it's relationships or, challenges, even when I want to look at, in career or finances or health, all of it is, there's something internal that needs to be attended to and recognized in order for that to shift and change what our experiences are playing out in our life. So one of the biggest things, I love that what you say here, that will, I believe so strongly in the fact that we have a power of choice, and that we choose, we are making choices every single day, whether those choices are leading us towards more health and vitality, or those choices are creating some kind of compromise within our system that's really almost creating more complexity for us to know that health and vitality. And so, yeah, the will to do it is certainly a big piece, and looking at what choices am I making. And that's been something for me, over these last few years of working with you, where I've been really cognizant of my choices. I always was. And yet, in the middle of going through what was, for lack of a better way of explaining it, was some physical crises that I was
Mm.
experiencing, that my choices mattered even more to me. that, and we have to recognize that we do have the choice. We are given choices every single, driving down the street. Do I turn left or do I turn right? I mean, that's a
That's right.
choice. But
Yeah.
so does it when it comes to our health, our nutrition, the practices that we have. All of those are in choices. The question is, are they empowering us or are they disempowering?
Well said.
Yeah. And it's like our thoughts, thoughts
Yeah.
are in the same context, right?
Yeah.
Those positive, empowering thoughts that lead us towards a state of hope. And you can feel the difference in a thought that says, I'm going to be like this forever. This is a chronic condition that's never going to heal. It feels deflated, and it feels weak, and it feels heavy. Whereas when you have thoughts and where you're like, I am healthy, and this is only temporary, and I'm
Yeah.
regaining my strength every day, those really begin to change how you feel on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the title of your show like puts it beautifully, the way through, right?
Yeah.
Through like a lot of like um I find people in general who become defeated or are defeated by their condition are ones that want to work around, right? And you've
Yes.
said it so beautifully in the title of this show is when you get that locus of control and you put it inside, you become the observer of your health, then you're going to seek the way through. You're not going to try and deflect or find shortcuts or find ways around it.
Mhm.
You're going to take full accountability for it and be your own your own observer and just see the way that you can get your body to heal.
Yeah, so brilliant, so brilliant. So, do you believe that everyone has the capacity to heal themselves?
100%,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what the body requires is facilitation, right? I think
Mhm.
that the way healing arts should be looked at is facilitating. The moment healing feels like something is being done to you, you've lost control.
Oh, that's powerful.
Right? So
Yes.
until you have the belief that my body has the ability to heal itself, you can't
Mhm.
heal. You're always going to rely on a means. You're always going to rely on a medium, right? Whereas your body is the medium. And so
Right.
you have to take it there. And I think it's foundational for anyone experiencing to any degree any health concern is I think like the unshakable belief that I have the ability, my body has the ability to heal itself, and I will get there. It's something that chiropractic has etched into my soul. And
Yeah.
so I share it with all my patients, my loved ones, my friends, anyone that I meet and they're experiencing any health crisis, I'm like, don't give up the belief that your body has the ability to heal itself. Find a facilitator. And
Yes.
again, with a little bit of baggage, but chiropractors, I think, are some of the underdogs of the healthcare system who
I
really
agree.
preach that, and they're cheerleaders for patients. It's like,
Right?
and an adjustment really, if you think an adjustment is, it has physical effects. Obviously, it's an act, but at the end of the day, the patient has to have this belief because then they can make all the
Mhm.
other choices that need to be made.
Right. Right. Yeah, from the belief becomes the choice, right?
That's
That's
right.
just the believing in the body's capacity. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh, I mean, and I think this is a big piece of it too, is just recognizing for all of us, there aren't individuals who are more special than someone else or someone who has better genetics or anything.
Yeah.
It's not saying that that doesn't have implication, but it's just recognizing that we've all been given this, our bodies all have the same capacity. We've all
Yeah.
been given the same makeup, so to speak, as human beings in order for, so what is possible for one person, and we can go back to, to Dr. Joe Dispenza and what
Yeah.
became possible for him through
Yes.
his sheer determination and will to continue to see his spine perfect, all the discs lined up, all the joints, everything functioning for the very fact that he did ultimately from being diagnosed and told he would never walk again to
Yeah,
being able to repair his spine and walk and do all those things that he was able to do previously. It's
that's right.
amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. And it's not just available to him.
that's right. It's to anyone
Yeah.
that wants to experience it, but it really starts with that belief. So
Yeah.
to any of your listeners and to anyone listening, frankly, if 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 you want a place to start, that has to be it, because then that
Yeah.
just changes your world. That gives you the power of choice, and there's no healer, no external person, no external, we call them pills, potions, or lotions.
Yes.
Nothing like
Yes.
that is going to work until you make the choice that, my body will heal itself.
Yeah, yeah. I'm an advocate, like I said, for alternative and what we could say non-traditional approaches to healing, but also looking at there's also in that same context there is validity when we look at Western medicines in terms of how they can support us, and I see that as being more of Western medicine being a part of what saves lives. When we look at going to the emergency room, those doctors are there to save our lives, but
Yeah.
that's not the only thing that we need to look at doing in order to know our health and vitality.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
that is a choice, and you need to recognize when to make that choice,
yeah,
right? And it's a choice that when it's needed, you need to make it. But
yeah,
if you're not ready to, accept the help, then you will just rely on one thing or the other, and it just doesn't give you a sense of empowerment.
yeah,
Right. So
absolutely.
100%, every healer, every healthcare professional, and from their point of view has, I believe, we all have, no matter what type of healthcare practitioner you are, we all take an oath, right? And I haven't read all of them, but I can guarantee
Yeah,
that every oath has some aspect or lens of the patient's best interest in the mind, right? So
yes,
every healthcare practitioner who's making a decision, and sharing it with you has your best interest in mind, right? And
yeah,
then you have
yeah.
to reciprocate by having the belief that, you're on a healing journey and you will do it.
Yes. Yes. So true. And I think it's important. It's a healing journey. And I also like I go back to what you said earlier, like healing feels like there's something being done to you as opposed to being able to just express and I am healing and beginning to advocate from the inside out in that way. But I also love that you refer to it as a journey because these aren't overnight remedies where these aren't about the quick fixes, but it is the commitment. And this is at least even from my own journey. I mean, I went when after having my spine straightened, of course we discovered that I had what they were classifying as stage 4 osteoarthritis, and they were saying I
Mm.
needed an immediate hip replacement. And that just didn't feel right to me. That just didn't feel like, it's not saying I won't maybe need one eventually, but I
Yeah.
just knew that that wasn't the right approach for me. So I think it also comes into really trusting, not just having the belief in our bodies and trusting ourselves to know what the best decision is for us, even when it is maybe against what are some of the norms of ways of we could say the remedies or the potions and lotions and as you said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And like to just bring it back to the point of will, right? Like if you don't have the will to find alternatives, and you don't have the will and the desire to find, see your own journey through, and respect an opinion, but be like, you know what, I'm going to try this first.
Yeah,
That will comes from a core belief system, right? And it's really that core belief system. If anyone is struggling with chronic pain, um, and you need support, find your cheerleaders and your coaches who share that mindset, that core belief system comes from that you're in control of your own health and your destiny, and you have full power to dictate the outcome. It's in your hands.
yeah. Yeah, so good, so good. I'm just here in the last few minutes, as of course these conversations always go by so quickly. I'm just wondering, Dr. Ali, do you have anything specific in terms of what we could consider practices to help keep that mind and body in alignment or in balance? When I look at this, when I say practice, I mean we've talked a lot about some of the different different variables here on the show today. And I'm just wondering, do you have anything, as a daily practice for someone in terms of them taking when their will is strong and they want to take charge of their health in that way?
Yeah, it's a great question, Bonnie. I mean, apart from sounding like too, I don't want to sound too cliche because we know some of these habits and we know they're good, right? Like meditation and yoga
Yes.
and journaling and some of those things that I do
Yes.
on a daily basis because it's a choice that I'm making for my lifestyle. But one thing that I will emphasize that I feel is missing from a lot of patients' um, lives that I meet is to stay attached to a coach. Don't make like treat health. We all have like financial coaches, right? We'll have
Yeah.
coaches for our kids, for sports, or even ourselves, right? And so when it comes to your nervous system, find a coach, someone who is going to know your body well, has been on that journey with others before. We often rely on professional help when we are in the lowest place
Yes.
in health, right? That's just
Yeah.
the kind of approach that maybe we've all now grown up in. But when I meet chiropractors from around the world and in other different societies, right, and we might see these studies and these articles on like Apple News, and they're always popping up on my phone, like, hey, this country
Yeah.
was ranked the best in the world in healthcare, right? And it's when it comes to their mindset, there's a lot of proactiveness that they take, which means that they don't wait for pain to arise to take care of a problem, right? They get
Yeah.
checked regularly, and they try and take this proactive approach to health. And what that requires is someone who knows what the difference is between function and pain, right? So redefine what health means for you. Are you someone who's going to react to a health problem, or are you going to be someone who's going to take a more proactive route and find a coach who's going to, empower you to a journey of wellness, right?
Yeah.
So anyone that can help you assess the function of your nervous system is someone to really stay attached to for years to come.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such sage advice, and really as you're speaking and sharing that, it's exactly how I look to you. You have been my coach and you have been
Oh,
my advocate and you have been the one to I'm going to get very emotional, but to help me believe in what I believe. And so and I say that because there were times when based on that core belief that I had, that there were times when I doubted. There was times when I was so caught up in what were the challenges that were taking place for me that it was like I forgot about what I believed. And you were that voice. You were the one to reaffirm that belief for me, which was such an important part. And I agree with you 100%. We need people to be our advocates, our cheerleaders, our motivators, and to remind us what is possible and what we're worthy of. And you, like I said, you certainly were that person for me. So, and you still continue to be. So thank you so much because just in so many ways for being here today to have this conversation, for the incredible work that you are doing. And if anyone is interested at all in learning more, please get in touch with me. I'm always happy to share your work with people and to let them know where to reach you, where to go to your clinics, and again, just in absolute 110% recommendation for anyone who is looking for another way to be able to know their health and well-being, how you support the nervous system, how you understand the spine, the body, and what's possible for us in the belief is just invaluable. So thank you so much for taking time today, and of course for the amazing work that you're doing as well.
Thank you, Bonnie. You're too kind. And I do want to take like 30 seconds to give you a shout out because yes, I'm the coach, but you are leading your own health journey and you're so inspirational with all of the work that you're doing and the lives that you're changing with the work that you do and the voice that you have for your listeners and for your audience. I think it's absolutely amazing and admirable. Kudos to you and your team and your
Thank
family.
you. Thank you so very much. Oh my gosh, that means everything. I appreciate that. And of course, for all of those who are tuning into the show, these valuable and incredible listeners that tune in every single week, thank you so much for being here today, for sharing in this conversation. And remember, irregardless of the challenges that arise in your life and whatever is happening in the world around you, there is always a way through. Until next week, sweet friends, bye-bye for now.